Welcome, everybody. It is so amazing to see people in 3 dimensions once again. It's been a long time. So we have a whole series of awards this evening. It'll take about an hour to deliver them all, and our MC for the evening is Jessica Foley. So thank you all for coming. I think you'll have a great time.
So echoing Neal, it's great to see everyone here. I think it's been since 2018 that we've had this meeting in person, so it's wonderful to be here. It's also wonderful to be back here at this Marriott where everything is brand new, as you can tell, since we were here before, so that's great. So we'll start things off tonight with a new award. This is the Clinical Adoption Award. This recognizes an individual dedicated to advancing the field of focused ultrasound and whose efforts have led to a significant number of patient treatments. So you'll see a short recording from Neal presenting this award, and then a presentation from the awardee.
It is my greatest pleasure to introduce Professor Wang as the recipient of the Foundation's first Clinical Adoption Award. No individual has done more to advance focused ultrasound as a technology for treating large numbers of patients with a wide variety of serious medical disorders. His efforts will ultimately result in the technology becoming a global standard of care, improving the lives of millions of patients. In his amazing, inspirational career, spanning more than 34 years, Professor Wang has done it all. He is a highly recognized scientist, educator, clinician, and entrepreneur. In 1999, he founded the Chongqing Haifu Medical Technology Company. The company has numerous installations in 28 countries and has been used to treat hundreds of thousands of patients with benign and malignant diseases who have life-threatening or disabling conditions. We will now hear from Professor Wang.
我很荣幸接受临床应用奖，感谢美国聚焦超声基金会，感谢Neal卡塞尔教授。我是一名妇产科医生，我也切了很多子宫，之后在梦境里面，子宫给我提了3个问题。他问道：我是孕育你的，我是孕育了成千上万人类的，我是你们的第一所房子，你为什么要切我呢？又问：我不是肇事者，我是受害者，而且我是主动为我的主人，因为他免疫系统出问题，内分泌出问题而患了疾病，病因不在我这儿，为什么要伤害我？再问我，我走了，我的主人还是女人吗？还是一个健康人吗？我告诉他，很遗憾，我没有办法，不得不伤害你，切除你，因为你病了。清醒时的我在反问自己，这是理由吗？这是我们妇产科医生该做的吗？于是我决定要去做研究。在研究过程里面，我发现聚焦超声也许是保子宫、保器官很好的技术，不像过去传统的那样不得不去伤害、去切除。我们妇产科医生这双手的使命，就是要托起这样一个完美的子宫，即使它患了病，我们也要让它的结构和功能逐渐的康复起来。34年去了，我带着团队 越来越大的团队，就是朝着这个方向。今天我们已经保住了10几万女性的子宫，已经分娩了数千名海夫为本。我深信10年、20年以后，将会保住数十万、数百万乃至上千万量级的子宫，诞生数十万的海夫 baby。34年过去了，聚焦超声技术在保子宫、保乳房、保肢体、保肝脏、保胰腺等保器官的治疗，延伸到了其他非肿瘤性疾病的治疗，以及应用到了康复保健治疗，让病人受伤害更小。这是患者的基本需求，也是他们的呐喊，更是医学文明发展的必然方向。感谢我的团队，从基础研究包括工程、临床、产品开发到临床应用，这是团队不断的持续的在创新，且非常有人文情怀。特别要感谢上千名医生，是他们的努力让我今天能站在这儿。我要感谢患者，是他们的选择和信任，让这项技术得以蓬勃发展，发展到今天。我也深信，由于他们的选择和信任，会让这项技术发展到更广阔的明天。谢谢。
So congratulations to Professor Wang. Next, we have the Lifetime Achievement Award, which is another new award that was established in 2022. And this recognizes an individual who has devoted a major portion of his or her distinguished career to advancing focused ultrasound therapy by establishing the field and improving the lives of patients. And unfortunately, we lost Yoav Medan recently, but Eyal Zadakario is here to say a few words about him. And then we'll have some videos that are also shared by Yoav's families and others about him and what a wonderful person he was.
Hey, so it's a great honor here to take part in recognizing Dr. Yoav Medan for this award. For those of you that don't know him, Yoav was one of the founding team of Insight Tech and a pioneer in the field. So a few words to his achievement. The Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes an individual who has made major strides in establishing the field of focused ultrasound and improving the lives of patients. Yoav Medan was among the elite pioneers of focused ultrasound, devoting more than 23 years to advancing the field as a vice president at Insight Tech and on various advisory roles. As such, it is my distinct honor to present the Foundation's Life Achievement Award to honor Dr. Medan, who passed away on April 30th of this year. Dr. Medan received a PhD from the Technion in Israel in 1984 and a business administration diploma from the University of Bradford in 1995. In 1999, he joined Insight Tech, served as vice president and chief system architect for more than a decade. During his tenure at Insight Tech, Dr. Medan designed and implemented many systems that have become the building blocks of Insight Tech technologies in the product that we have today. He defined the software of treatment of the systems, expanded its capabilities in innovating and in early research. Management engineering efforts in the company started the BRAIN program in its preclinical phase and developed the foundation of what's become Insight Tech's platforms. He also focused on supporting luminary research collaborators in the academia in demonstrating future applications on Insight Tech's platforms, such as treating moving liver organs and real-time target tracking and thermometry. He was a member of the Foundation's Scientific Advisory Board and was influential in developing the technology behind Fast Mobile, a focused ultrasound company addressing lower back pain. Prior to joining Insight Tech, Dr. Medan spent 17 years in research and management in IBM Research Division and was elected to the IBM Academy of Technology. Yoav taught in the Electrical Engineering Department at the Technion, in addition to serving as a lecturer of avionics systems and mentoring young entrepreneurs as part of the Technion alumni programs. Yoav was very passionate about helping others, especially those of special needs. In 2013, Yoav Medan founded Haifa 3D, a nonprofit open hub for 3D digital design and fabrication. In 2014, he co-founded Nina Speech, developing teletherapy for those that suffer from speech disorders. He was also involved with the preschool deaf children community in Israel. With that, I think we want to recognize Yoav for both his support for Focus Ultrasound company and not only in the company, but in society at large. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elad, and I'm one of the 3 sons of Dr. Yoav Medan, who was supposed to be standing here today to receive this prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award. Since he has sadly passed away, leaving me to receive this award in his stead, I would like to say a few words about my father's work and what, in my opinion, has led him to become nominated for this honor. So after taking part in several breakthrough developments at IBM that instead of changing lives were archived, my father decided to embark on a new journey. He decided to join a young startup called Insight Tech that set out to implement non-invasive surgery via guided focused ultrasound, providing tools to cure the diseases of the 21st century and to restore people's quality of life. That is when he became a part of this important community. After his mother's passing, he took an early leave from Insight Tech, not before he managed to give the FUS community unprecedented exposure by being accepted as a TED speaker, where he talked about a non-invasive surgery of the future. His experiences at Insight Tech taught him that the real disease lies within our healthcare systems and their skewed priorities. So once again, my father set out on yet another new path. 3 years ago, my father was diagnosed with a tumor in his chest that did not stop him from his many endeavors. A year ago, during a challenging session of chemotherapy, my father was again diagnosed with another type of cancer. It was at that moment of despair when he was announced as the recipient of this honorable Lifetime Achievement Award I am receiving on his behalf today. It lifted his spirit and put a smile on his face, and for that, we will always be grateful to the FUS Foundation. 6 months ago, my father discovered he was positive for COVID and was hospitalized as a severe patient. Even while fighting for his every breath, he continued taking part in online meetings with innovative health tech initiatives, is mentoring with entrepreneurs of all ages, and was determined to do whatever it takes to stand here today with you. Unfortunately, despite my father's stubbornness and deep commitment to this community, he could not be here with us today, although I'm sure he's with us in spirit. He was always thankful for the privilege of working with you all towards the goals of improving both healthcare systems and the quality of lives worldwide by the assimilation of focused ultrasound as a non-invasive medical procedure that is cost-effective, environmental, and most importantly, humane as can be. I am honored to present some of my father's achievements with a short clip from a film we produced for his 70th birthday last year. Thank you all for this honor, your kindness, and your meaningful work in this important field. Thank you.
יזם חברתי וטכנולוגי, מנטור ומנץ'.
אם הייתי צריך להגדיר את יואב בכותרת אחת, אז מה שהייתי בוחר זה אדם לכל עת. מפני שבכל עת שהיה צורך לתת מענה למשהו, אז יואב היה האדם לכל עת שנתן את המענה.
יואב הוא מאוד תובעני כלפי עצמו, וגם כלפי האחרים. החדשנות, היצירתיות, תמיד לבוא עם איזה רעיון לפתרון.
מערכת פוקוס אולטרסאונד צריך להניע מטמר שמשדר את האולטרסאונד כדי שיוכל לכסות שטח. לתנועה של הזזת המטמר ממקום למקום לצורך הטיפול יש הורה אחד, יואב מדן. מיסטר מושן.
אריאל נולד כשעברנו לחיפה. לקראת גיל 9 חודשים, משהו כזה, הבנו שיש בעיה בשמיעה.
זאת אומרת, הוא היה profoundly deaf, מה שנקרא. התגייסתי למצוא טכנולוגיות שיאפשרו לו להתפתח בצורה משהו יותר נורמלית.
היה לי רעיון איך להמחיש לילדים מבנים בשפה בצורה חזותית.
התוכנה שפנינה ואני פיתחנו, זה היה אלמנט אחד בהנצחה שלו, וזה בעצם נתרם לכל המוסדות של מיכה בארץ.
אנחנו חיים במדינה מדהימה, אבל זו מדינה שמישהו פעם החליט שאם לילד יש יד אחת בריאה, אז הוא לא נכה.
הפתרון הזה של יד מודפסת בתלת מימד, שמותאמת אישית, בתהליך של ההכנה של הידיים, הוא בדרך כלל מכיל כמה סבבים, עד שמגיעים ליד טובה. כל ילד שבא אלינו למדידות, כדי שנוכל למדוד את היד ולהתאים לו יד, הוא מחליט מי הגיבור שלו, והידיים עשויות בצורה כזאת שהחברים שלו ברגע שהיד עליו, הם ממרחק של 10 מטרים, הם יודעים לזהות כבר איזה גיבור זה.
וזה מדהים לראות איך שני האנשים המדהימים האלה, שהיו יכולים להיות ברמת האולימפוס ונובלים והכל, עם כל הידע שיש להם, והניסיון שיש להם, יושבים פה במרתף ומדפיסים ידיים לילדים.
The love you get is equal to the love you make. ואני חושב שזה מסר מאוד מאוד חשוב, זה לתת בלי לצפות לתמורה.
That was wonderful. I knew Yoav, and I just learned a lot more about him, and that was very inspiring. So next, on behalf of the Focused Ultrasound Foundation, I'm honored to present the 2022 Visionary Award to Focused Ultrasound pioneer Professor Gail Haar. This award is given every 2 years at our symposium and recognizes an individual who has created a larger vision for what the future of focused ultrasound may hold, and whose effort, passion, and persistence have been crucial to advancing the field. A renowned expert in the physics and bioeffects of focused ultrasound, Gail leads the therapeutic ultrasound team at the Institute of Cancer Research, where her work centers on understanding how ultrasound interacts with tissue. Her most recent research has involved developing devices and protocols for ultrasound-based treatments of cancer, investigating focused ultrasound for immune stimulation, and using focused ultrasound to treat liver and kidney tumors. Gail has had a very long and distinguished career in physics and in focused ultrasound, but her mark left on our community is much greater than the 5 books, 32 book chapters, and more than 250 peer-reviewed research papers she has authored. She helped to create our field with her innovative research, elucidating the various bioeffects of focused ultrasound and translating these findings to early clinical trials in cancer patients. And as the founding president of the International Society for Therapeutic Ultrasound, ISTU, she initiated and has fostered the rich collaborative community that we have today. Simply put, Gail's contributions to the field of focused ultrasound are truly immeasurable. So congratulations to Gail.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to the Foundation for honouring me in this way. When Neal rang me and said, would I accept this award, silly question, I began to wonder what a visionary was. So I looked up in British dictionaries, and I wasn't very encouraged by what I saw. It said someone given to or characterised by fanciful, not presently workable, or unpractical ideas, views or schemes. So I didn't like that. So I went to the American dictionaries, and there the definitions were rather more interesting for me. Let's look, for example, at one, someone having or showing clear ideas about what should happen or be done in the future. And I think that's what I have been doing all my research career. I've always believed in ultrasound as a therapy. I've been a lone voice, certainly in the UK, for quite a long time. But look at this, it's grown immensely. How did I get here? Well, I did physics at Oxford. When I talked to the careers advisors about what I should do, they said, well, you've done physics, you can be an accountant or you can be a teacher. I didn't fancy either of those. But I knew that I wasn't a theoretical physicist. I was much more practical. Some of you may know my father was a well-respected theoretical physicist, and I wasn't going to compete with him in any way. So I turned to medical physics and did a master's degree in Aberdeen. I really didn't enjoy counting photons. I thought that that's just not what I wanted to do at all. So I turned to ultrasound. And I've been in ultrasound ever since. I applied to Mary Dyson, who at that point was the leading person in biological effects of ultrasound. I thought I'd aim to the top, and if she said no, then I'd try somewhere else. But luckily, she had a PhD position going, and so I did a PhD in the bioeffects of ultrasound. So you can see I haven't really moved on very far over the years that I've been working. I did my PhD at Guy's Hospital in London on the bioeffects of ultrasound on blood flow, looking at the effects of standing waves on 3.5-day chick embryos. I think for 3 years I was probably one of the world's experts on the blood supply of a 3.5-day chick embryo. It's a minor achievement, I think. You can see here the standing wave that's produced by a gas bubble in the gut of a chick. And then Professor Kit Hill, who in my view is a true visionary, rang me up and said, could you come and investigate the potential applications of ultrasound therapy for the treatment of cancer? He was working at the Institute of Cancer Research, and of course I couldn't say no, and that's where I've been ever since. Working in the Joint Physics Department, it's a great privilege to work there because we have very close links between the hospital and the institute. So anything that you develop, it's reasonably easy if you have clinical commitment to get it into the hospital. I started off by looking at ultrasound hypothermia, so weakly or unfocused beams, trying to heat tissue to 43 degrees and keeping it there for 60 minutes, and doing it in combination with radiotherapy or chemotherapy. But this is difficult. I mean, people are still doing hypothermia, and people now recognize that ultrasound hypothermia is probably a good thing to do. But the problem in my eyes is that it requires a very good knowledge of the temperature distribution. If you're below 43 degrees, then it's much more difficult to get these synergistic effects you're looking for. And you require several treatment sessions. So why not just turn up the power and see what you can do? So for me, hypothermia is a problem with some solutions that we need still to find, and we need to struggle to get hold of them. I should add that when I was looking up synonyms for visionary, it said creative as well. And one of my hobbies is painting, so you will see one or two of my paintings along the way, and this panda coming out of the page is one of them. So to release the panda, let's do thermal ablation. Let's heat tissue to more than 60 degrees for a second, and destroy tissue immediately. So you only need one treatment session if you do it right. It's highly specific, but you do need to be able to monitor your treatment. So you probably need very sophisticated ultrasound imaging or MR imaging, but we all know about this. So what have I done through my career? Well, basic science mostly. I've been working with device development. I've been doing mechanistic studies, looking in vitro, ex vivo, and in vivo. I've spent a lot of time looking at calibration because as a physicist, I realized that if we don't know what we're measuring, or we don't know what we're putting into the patient, we can't repeat those treatments, and we can't really understand them mechanistically. And I've helped to write reporting guidelines, both for safety of diagnostic ultrasound and more recently for therapy ultrasound. I've had the great privilege of being involved in some early clinical trials. In 1999, we did our first treatment of liver metastases using a homemade device at the Marsden, ultrasound guided. It was a dose escalation study. It worked pretty well, but at roughly the same time, Chongqing Haifu came to see us, and we realized that you could do the same sort of treatments but with ultrasound guidance. And I felt at that point it really wasn't ethical to do what we were doing without guidance. And I was very lucky to be able to work with David Cranston in Oxford and the Chongqing Haifu team to do some more treatments there. In 2014, thanks to the Focused Ultrasound Foundation, we became a centre of excellence, and we had the Sonaleave system, or Profound system as it now is, and we were able to run some clinical trials on the palliation of pain from bone metastases and to treat recurrent gynae tumours, pelvic tumours, which we did initial clinical trial, but sadly we then lost our MR radiologist, and we've had to stop that. But we started again with clinical trials. We're doing some fetal medicine trials, working with Professor Christoph Lees at Queen Charlotte's Hospital. We've now treated 6 patients, 6 pregnant females who are suffering from twin transfusion syndrome. And those treatments have been very encouraging, but of course we can't really say whether they're successful or not. We need to wait until the babies are delivered. So where should we all be going next? If I really were a visionary, then I would be able to give you the answers. The first thing that we would say is, well, we ought to be doing more treatments. What should we be doing? But when you look at the Focused Ultrasound Foundation report of the status quo, maybe we are doing enough things at the moment. Maybe we should be concentrating better. I think we should be choosing what we do and to do it well, and that's more important than trying to do everything. No technique will be able to do everything. We desperately, desperately need greater evidence base, and for that we need more clinical devices. Certainly in the UK we need many more clinical devices and more clinical advocates, and that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we get more devices and we have more evidence base, then we'll get more clinical advocates. And we need early stage clinical funding, which the foundation is very good at giving, but it can't fund all of us. We need to convince our governments and our research bodies that they should fund us too. In the early days, I used to say, you must avoid cavitation, because once you start to get cavitation, then you can't predict what's happening. But of course, now we can. Now cavitation can be controlled, and I'm very excited about harnessing the versatility of bubbles, either to get mechanical ablation or to enhance effects that we can get on the membranes, for instance, with drug delivery or immunotherapy. I think we very much need smaller application-specific devices. The UK is very space-strapped. Our NHS hospitals don't have much space, so we need smaller devices. And in my view, that means if we can, we should be using ultrasound guidance. Of course, we can't use it for everything, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing MR guidance. But if there are techniques that we can do with ultrasound guidance, we should be really working to get them into our hospitals so that they can occupy smaller spaces and not occupy the very busy MR scanners that we have. And we should be looking more and more for combination therapies. If we're going to convince skeptical clinicians, we need to be working with them with their gold standard techniques to improve what they can do, and then convince them that maybe we can do things differently. So looking at immunotherapies and viral therapies, combining with radiotherapy. My department is headed by a radiotherapy oncologist, and he's very excited about prospects of what we can do together. And nuclear medicine. We're just beginning a study with some combining nuclear medicine with HIFU. Very exciting. But as I said, I'm a physicist. We definitely need more uniformity in reporting of treatments. We need more blue sky funding, and I think we could do with a lot more interaction with unrelated scientific fields. We also need to network more. These meetings are fantastic, and we're back meeting in person and networking. We're a very collaborative community. I think one of the nice things about what we do is that we're not at each other's throats. We're not all competing with each other. We're working together for a common aim. And while I'm talking about networking, I hope Jean-François will forgive me for giving a plug for the next winter school in Les Houches next March. Great place to network, great place to learn about techniques that maybe you don't know about. Sign up. So my wish list for the future, we can't do everything, but we can make sure that the things that we can do, we do well, and that we're recognized by the clinical community for doing it. We need increased scientific and clinical credibility. I'll probably be unpopular for saying it, but I do think treatments are still rather more of an art than a science. By better reporting and better understanding of what we're doing, then we'll get better scientific credibility. And my hope for the future, as I'm sure it is of everyone's here, is that therapy ultrasound in all its guises will become available to anyone who can benefit from it in the future. I rather like this quote: "If you can't do great things, do small things in a great way." And I hope that we won't end up like this rusty car that I've painted at the end of the road with no use for it. We will get it out there. We will get it used. It will be exciting in the future. So my philosophy is never give up, for that's just the place and time that the tide will turn. How often have we got to the end of our funding and thinking, what am I going to do next? And something comes. Or you think you've run out of ideas, and then you sleep on it and a new idea comes. So let's not give up. Thank you very much, and thank you to the Foundation for this amazing award.
Congratulations again. And next, we have another new award, the Commercialization Pathfinder Award, which recognizes an individual who has served as a galvanizing force in facilitating the rapid acceleration of focused ultrasound, speeding the transition from laboratory research to widespread adoption and utilization of the technology. The recipient is always working to achieve the ultimate goal, providing significant contributions to the use of focused ultrasound technology to decrease death, disability, and suffering for patients with serious medical disorders around the world. And so Dr. Kassell and Eyal Zadacario will say a few words about the recipient, Kobi Vortman, who has sent us some remarks to share via video.
Well, we're very sorry that Kobi couldn't be here for logistical reasons. We're also very sorry that Wadi Gudroik isn't here to make this introduction, because he speaks much more articulately and much longer than I do. So I just have very few words to say. Everybody knows Kobi. Nobody has done more than Kobi has done to advance this field. I've known Kobi for 18 years, and from my perspective, he is the perfect friend and the perfect colleague. He is a true pioneer in the purest definition of the word, meaning he's been able to take a vision and create a reality out of that vision through hard work, risk-taking, and innovation. Eyal will talk to you a few minutes about Kobi from a different perspective.
Thank you, Neal. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the foundation for, I think Kobi was very excited to hear about this award and really wanted to be here, and as Neal said, for technical logistic reasons, for visa expiring during COVID, could not make it in time. But it's really unique that this new award really puts everything together and helps us realize that the pioneering spirit and the change that we need to make to introduce this technology to the world is more than science, it's more than the clinical work. It really takes all efforts from science, clinical, and commercializations to actually get this out there. And I think that nobody demonstrates that better than Kobi's vision. Kobi started working with this technology about 25 years ago, about 23 years ago, founded Insight Tech, with the vision to take focused ultrasound and turn it into a real robust, accepted medical technology or modality that can actually help millions of patients, and we are on the pathway to get there, as you will hear from his words soon. Kobi got to focused ultrasound after a long and very successful career in innovative and creative defense technology, and translated and took that same passion of solving difficult problems, solving problems that nobody solved before, into the world of healthcare and medical device development. And that's what it took in these 23 years, or almost 25, to turn this to what we have today. Kobi was all about collaboration and would do anything in his power to accelerate bringing this technology to patients and to more and more patients. Pushes us till today very hard to accelerate as much as we can the progress and the development of the technology so we can help more patients faster. And he would do anything in his power to do that. He is, as Neal mentioned, a true mentor and a guiding light for many of us. As to maybe one sentence he usually said is that the fact that problems have not been solved before or have not been solved by others doesn't mean they cannot be solved. And pushes us to overcome and reach areas and solve problems that are really, really tough, but are needed to make this technology work in the future. So with that, I think we'll hear his words, right? Okay.
Good evening. I would like to apologize for missing the FAST Foundation AIDS meeting as a result of my visa expiring. Can you believe it? As always, a long road requires perseverance and a clear set of goals that we can identify with and share. I started this journey at 1999, inviting a group of exceptional researchers to join me in the pursuit of the vision. This group proved again all odds that they can make the impossible possible. I would like to thank them. I would like to thank the FAST Foundation for rewarding me with the Pathfinder Award. I'm really honored to be the inaugural recipient of it. More than 20 years ago, we started developing the next generation operating room, where we had to substitute the scalpel and the surgeon's vision and palpation with closed-loop therapy. The Insight Tech team had the view from the beginning that non-invasive remotely operated systems must be operated in a closed-loop mode, following real-time feedback and automatic corrections. While at the time this idea seemed to be like a Star Wars technology, we at Insight Tech were sure that it is mission possible and, more importantly, one that would aid many people in need. I'm happy to say that looking 23 years back, we, together with many of you, are truly changing lives of people and patients and families for the good. To date, about 30,000 patients in multiple indications have been treated, globally with the MR-guided FAST systems built by Insight Tech. I do hope that with the help of the people here and globally, this technology will help many more people in need. I want to thank partners, my partners at Insight Tech, the FAST Foundation, and the relevant academic clinical teams globally. You were all a major part of this amazing technology. This technology could not have been made without you. I think that all of us had a pretty clear goal in our minds to make this world a better place and to help people. Thank you.
So congratulations again to Kobi. So this next award is the Jolesz Award. This was established in 2016 to honor the life of Ferenc Jolesz, a true pioneer in focused ultrasound. The award is intended to recognize and encourage Dr. Jolesz's innovative spirit in mid-career researchers and clinicians who continue to advance focused ultrasound. The award, which includes a $5,000 cash prize, is supported by Insightec. This will actually, Graeme Woodworth, who is the recipient, is not here this evening, but he will be here tomorrow, where he'll also be delivering a presentation, and Eyal Zadakario will present him with the award tomorrow, so look forward to that. So next up is our Andrew Lockhart Focused Ultrasound and Immuno-Oncology Postdoctoral Fellowship. So we had a prize of the same name for 3 years, which we had wonderful recipients of that, and then transitioned this to a postdoctoral fellowship in 2021. And this is enabling the foundation to identify and cultivate the next generation of investigators who could advance the development and clinical adoption of focused ultrasound and immuno-oncology. So this year we had several outstanding candidates, and we've selected Dr. Yutong Gail as the 2022 recipient of this award. And Dr. Gail completed her PhD at Georgia Institute of Technology in 2021 and will begin her postdoctoral fellowship in January 2023 at Stanford. And I hope that she is here. Congratulations, Yutong. Oh, there you are. And now we will congratulate our young investigators. So at each symposium, the Young Investigator Awards encourage quality research and the presentation of meritorious scientific papers. Award recipients receive complimentary symposium registration and up to $2,500 for travel and lodging. This year's winners will also present their work during a lunchtime plenary session on Thursday. A big thank you to Verisonics for sponsoring the Young Investigator Awards this year.
Sorry, there's one more name I have to read. So we're also giving the Global Intern Award this evening to Elizabeth Swanee Douglas. I believe she's here. Yes.
We have one final award. This year, Bracco has sponsored a Women in Science Award, representing the top abstract among the Women Young Investigator Award winners. Dr. Dezhuang is the recipient of this award. Okay, so let's give a big round of applause for all of our award winners.